Let us not dawdle, for there are grudges to settle, and new entries in the Damask Cron to right!
Howdy, howdy, Still here, and welcome to another online game featuring the Dwarfs versus the High Elves, and this is my coach, Boss, playing the Dowie. Now, this is a game that Boss sent to me quite some time ago, before we started our training, so I could look at it, sort of see how he plays. He's got a few games like this that I will cast, so this is just a ladder battle that he played. Now, this is Boss' build. He has 6 Longbeards, and they all have 1 Chevron. That's actually a really good point for them because they get 3 stat points for that one Chevron spent. Unlike most units will get 2, so he has them around the edges and sort of down the middle. Out front, he has 2 Rangers. They are stealth, obviously, and are stocked, and they can, on the right targets, they'll do very well. The real heavy hitters he has for his army are these 3 Iron Drake with Trollhammer torpedoes. He swears by these guys, and I have now since put them into my lineup, and Yumeis also swears by them, so I think in this matchup 3 Trollhammer torpedoes may not be a must, but are very strong, as both of them are under complete agreement, and now that I've used them as well, they're very strong in this matchup because of one full volley from 3 of these can really damage a noble and a chariot or something like that. In his backline, he has 2 Giant Slayers, and he has 2 Bolt Throwers. And for the leadership, he just has a Rune Lord with the Rune of Wrath and Rune, and that is it. So for the High Elf army, way back in the back, he has Vanguard deployed, Illyrian Reaver Archers, 140 range, and the, not really armor piercing or anything like that, but they will be able to come back and sort of into the back line here. For the High Elves, and another High Elf army we're seeing here with 3 Spearmen across the front to help out. We have the Scions of Matland, and I was wondering why you might bring them, and the reason is because they have this aura of protection. So if the mana is more than 50% for a 40 meter range, you get 12% damage resistance, so that's up front. And for the heavy hitters of this army, really it is the 2 White Lions of Trace and 1 Swordmaster of Hoeth. In the back line, 2 Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers. So we're going to get a chance to see the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers face up, straight up against the Dowie Bolt Throwers. And I know one-on-one a Dowie Bolt Thrower can beat the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers, but I haven't done a whole lot of testing to see how good that battle turns out. For the range department, 2 archers with just light armor. Obviously, those are 4 Slayers, and the Sisters of Avalorn, which are the Regiment of Renown. Sisters of Avalorn have magical damage. They do have 35 with 18 armor piercing, so they do have fire damage as well as magical. So it's not the greatest against the Dowie, but that armor piercing sure is. And they do a number on gyrocopters, as you've seen in the game where I brought them. Now, this is a very interesting leadership composition, as the High Elf player only has the Handmaiden of the Everqueen, who has Foe Seeker, Quicksilver Shot with plus 10% reload, or plus 10 reload, has Enchanted Spyglass for 10% missile damage, has Horn of Isha for plus 5 reload skill, a plus 5 melee attack, and for the leader, and this Handmaiden of Everqueen obviously has a bow that has 180 range, 267 armor piercing missile damage, and anti-large. And this princess is not anti-large, but has a bow as well, 180 range, not armor piercing missile damage, has a volley of high arrows, which is a magic missile spell, dragon horn plus 25% missile damage and plus 25% weapon damage, the talisman of Loic plus 26 melee attack plus 25% weapon damage, foe seeker, and loose plus 10 reload skill. So really, this is a army that's heavily focused on making these ranged units work and holding with the front line, and just having a few backline units that can go. So we're going to start this right away, and we're going to basically see the battle of the bolt throwers. You can see right now, right away, the bolt throwers are aimed in by Boss. He brings both of his bolt throwers to bear on this one right here. The Eagle Claw he has taken a tiny bit of damage from the two Eagle Claw bolt throwers, and they had to move a little bit forward. And you can see now in comes the Eagle Claw bolt throwers and doing some damage, and the Dowie bolt throwers are going to start to go to work right about now. And that early damage, it's already starting to add up. And you can see this is just going to be sort of a ranged battle. So both bolt throwers are going hard on this one Eagle Claw bolt thrower. And you can see already this bolt thrower is taking over half health, it was like 1705, and this guy is taking, you know, like a couple hundred health, with both bolt throwers scoring multiple hits right on top of the Eagle Claw bolt thrower. You can see over here already, we've got all three are gone. 1, 2, 3, they're all gone. Now it's just this bolt thrower left. These guys have had all three gone, and it's going to take an extra shot just into there until the high elf player realizes that his bolt throwers have gone. Obviously, Orgboss is going to start out that he cannot win this fight. He's got the Illyrian River archers are sort of in this back. He wants to push them off a little bit and bring these guys back to sort of shoot with his bolt thrower, but this bolt thrower is getting the crap beat out of it. Still, all three of these guys left. You know, we're talking, they've got, this is not how it always ends. It goes differently, you know, but only down 400 health from the two Dowie bolt throwers, and now they're already, you know, doing very good. They've already killed one of the second group of Dowie bolt throwers, and they're working on the last two. These Illyrian Reaver archers really want to get in and shoot at these Giant Slayers. That is their primary target. They want to make sure they get some shots into the Giant Slayers, and there we go. See the Giant Slayers are just taking damage in there, and Orgboss trying to push them away and replace them with the Rangers. This bolt thrower is just getting the tar beat out of it. There's really, this is a battle that obviously it can be won. You just have to get, I think, really lucky, because here you can see still all three of these bolt throwers are online. And artillery battles are like this. If you start to win, it snowballs really fast. So this is not really representative of every fight, but it's just interesting to see that these Eagle Claw bolt throwers are more accurate than the Dowie bolt throwers. Dowie bolt throwers are 40 accuracy. The Eagle Claw bolt throwers are 50, which is you know, pretty significant, 20% more accurate. And obviously they do a little bit more damage. They have a little bit more range at 380 versus 340. But you can see here now all three of these are gone as well. And right now, Orgboss is just trying to push off these Illyrian Reavers and then start to come in with the rest of his army, because he needs to get engaged. And these Longbeards are going to take damage or take some shots from the archers, but that's not a real big deal, to be perfectly honest. You know, they can sort of take that damage and they'll do just fine. And now the bolt throwers that they've finished off the Dowie bolt throwers, they still have we'll say 10 ammo. So really here on this guy we've got 5 ammo. They're really trying to shoot into these Iron Drakes with Trollhammer torpedoes. So right now, Orgboss just wants to get his front line engaged and then get into the back line with these Giant Slayers and try and get onto them. Now, the Illyrian Reaver archers has come in to just charge into the Rangers, and these other Rangers are going to try and shoot at them in this back line. The Rune Lord is going to put his Rune of Wrath in. We'll see where he puts it, but these Iron Drakes really are just trying to get into the right area, and you're going to see he just wants to start putting pressure onto this high elf back line. You can see these Illyrian Reaver archers, they've gotten wiped out. They did get a good charge on the Rangers, but they've otherwise got wiped out. We've got now these Iron Drakes sort of getting into that front line. These Longbeards trying to get into the fight. The Spearmen are over here, and these Longbeards are sort of trying to come around the edge, and these Giant Slayers will also sort of come around the edge. These are Illyrian Reaver archers. They've been pushed away from that back line, but really they're so much faster than the Dowie, they can sort of do what they want to do. Meanwhile, these Giant Slayers have got involved with the White Lantern Trace. Not the best target, but there's not really, you know, they got to get the job done. They got to get some stuff done. So the Longbeards are going over here, and Orgboss is trying to support here. These Iron Drakes with Trollhammer torpedoes are very, very good at this, and you can see how fast with the Giant Slayers and the Trollhammer torpedoes working together to get rid of these White Lions of Trace. How fast they're actually going to get that job done. Boom, they've now routed, and these Giant Slayers can come on through that back line. You can see now the Longbeards can also come in through the back line on this side. Again, he has been able to get rid of the Iron Drakes on this side, but now over here these Giant Slayers are coming on in and they're pushing into this side. These Giant Slayers are taking shots from the archers over here, and these Longbeards, this is a really, really nice play. So the Swordmasters of Hoth have started chase, and these Longbeards are just trying to run away. Really, that'll hold off the battle for as long as possible. Really, really nice play. These Longbeards are sort of going around to help. In come the White Lions of Trace. Really, they're going to stop and fight here, but he can get the Iron Drakes with Trollhammer torpedoes and shoot into their back. Here you're going to see how devastating bows are to these Giant Slayers. The Giant Slayers are coming, get a rear charge on the Spearmen, and these archers are just going to go to town on these Giant Slayers. These Giant Slayers are sort of kind of trying to push back, but you can see they're down to 23 models. You can just see how fast they're getting absolutely obliterated. These guys have 36 speed, these guys have 40. So they're trying to make sure they push in. So he's obviously not going to catch them, so he tries to push in like that. And now he's going to take shots in the back. He's down to 19 models, down to 49 models with these guys. This is the hard part about having Giant Slayers. Now in Yume's build, he doesn't have Giant Slayers. He uses hammers, which is a bit of a different idea. But you can see how much damage these guys are taking. So the Rourke boss just says, I'm going to go in, I'm going to get some kills in the Sisters of Avalorn. And these Swordmaster of Hoth have kind of gone out. He has been able to route these White Lions of Chase with these Troll Hammers. And now he's coming into the front lines with the Rangers, trying to get some good positions in there. This Princess has come over and just fought is just fighting the Rune Lord and these Troll Hammers. The Swordmasters of Hoth now have gotten rid of the Longbeards over here, and they're coming after these Troll Hammers. So Rourke boss just wants to get some shots in, and now he's got all his Rangers focused in on these guys. He gets a shot in with his Iron Drakes, and he's going to pull back. He's actually going to take his Rune Lord and try and push in. So he's going to try and get his Rune Lord in and get his Troll Hammers behind. This Princess is coming and do some charges on the Rangers. I mean, that is not too bad. C'est la vie. In this back line, the Giant Slayers have just been absolutely decimated. There's only one group of Giant Slayers left, and now right units on the right units, these Longbeards can chase all day and kind of push these archers back. This is the right unit. Actually, you'd really want a Dwarf Warrior if you had them. But in the front line, these Longbeards are doing fine. We've got Longbeards across the line. They're doing their job. They're beating down the Spearmen. You can see these Swordmasters of Hoth have been temporarily stopped, but they're going to go take on the Rangers. And really, Rourke boss just wants to keep pressure on those guys, keep pressure on the front line, and he's doing what he needs with these Longbeards. He's going to be fighting these White Lions of Trace here pretty soon. You've got these Longbeards coming. They've pushed off the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower and the Spearmen, so they're collapsing into that front line. Really, this battlefield has gotten very small now, which is exactly what the Dowie like, because they can really control that quite well. We've got the Swordmasters of Hoth here beating down the Rangers, but now they're going to be taking shots from the Iron Drakes with Trollhammer torpedoes. And these guys are very, very good in this matchup for doing just that. The Swordmasters of Hoth don't have their martial mastery anymore, and they're gonna struggle. They're still a very great unit, but they're gonna struggle as they have less and less capability. You've got the Master Rune of Wrath and Rune on them again, and you can see they're going to go down here. They have 29 models left. The Longbeards back here are just sort of zoning out the rest of that army, and now the Dowie are sort of collapsing right into the middle. And you can see that one Master Rune of Wrath and Rune was really well timed. Coming here with the charge is going to finish these guys off. He's got the magic missiles trying to come in and help the Swordmaster of Hoth, but it's a little too late. There's just a princess left, and where is that? I don't know. Maybe they must have got her while I wasn't paying attention to that side of the battle. But the princess is now coming back. Has Foe Seeker, wants to get involved in the battle, but now we have the Dowie over here. What is that in there? Oh, that is the Handmaiden of the Everqueen. Okay, so I didn't miss her getting killed. But the Handmaiden of the Everqueen is pretty strong. The Princess is really strong as well, but you know they're not gonna be able to do much against the Dowie. These Longbeards, one unit of Longbeards will be able to finish off all 3 units of archers if given the chance. Because this is exactly where the Dowie really strong right at the end of the battle when things are sort of beat up, and you can see Aurora Boss has focused down the most dangerous units, got rid of both of the white lines of trace. Well, these Swordmasters are coming back. They have 209 health and 10 models, and I don't know how they're coming back, but they have just enough leadership to keep on going, and they're getting shot again down to 9 models. And we'll see if they can make it to that line and start fighting. Nope, they have shattered. And these spearmen have come in to try and get into that fight. They're exhausted. And coming back here are the Rangers. And the Dowie are really just in here focusing down the rest of these units. And pushing off these key units, the Swordmasters here. And trying to finish off the Handmaidens. And this is, you know, these Handmaiden and the Princess only have 50 and 40 armor respectively, so the Dowie are going to be able to slowly whittle them down. You can see here these Longbeards are having no problem holding back these 2 archers. They're winning both of those battles. The High Elf player realizes that's not worth it, so he brings these guys out and he's going to try and get them in the line. And you know, from here it is just an atrocious battle, which is exactly what the Dowie want. You can see that Handmaiden. We'll try and get a close-up of the Dowie fighting that Handmaiden. That's a great shot, actually. Just all bloody. All the dwarves jumping and throwing their axes, and she's trying to poke down on them. This is fantastic. Actually, that does look really good. I love the lighting in this shot. Anyways, the archers have routed, and the rest of the units are coming in, and they're going to surround the Princess. There really isn't much time left in the game, and the Dowie will obviously finish her off. We'll go and take some last looks in the middle of that fight, just to watch the Longbeards. We got some Longbeards in there, and there I think she's ready to rout, actually. Yeah, there we go. So we'll look at the end plates and we'll talk about the build. And I wanted to cast this game right after that game with you, Maze, and then kind of go over the build that I currently have, because it's sort of a hybrid between what Maze has and what my coach Aurora Boss has. Now, if you have not gone to Aurora Boss's channel, I put a link to his channel in the description. Go watch his channel and you can see him playing. He plays all kinds of factions, but he's also really enjoys the Dowie. But in this match, Aurora Boss is Rune Lord, 30 kills. And you can see almost all of these Longbeards got a free chevron, that little free chevron trick. Because they all started with 1 chevron, which is good, and it's really easy to get to that second one. So 68, 49, 100, 81, 88, and 0 for these guys. 34 and 83 for the Giant Slayers. And Giant Slayers, we're always going to struggle with these archers with light armor. Really, the archers are sort of the bane of Giant Slayers. And so he tried to use them as much as he could. The Rangers got 21 and 14, and really the heavy hitters, the Iron Drakes, got 45, 9, 67, and really they were focused in on the Swordmaster of Rehoboth and the White Lions. As far as the Bolt Throwers, they got 8 and 7, and really they got taken out of the battle almost immediately by the High Elf Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers. Again, this is a battle that the Dowie Bolt Throwers can win. I've tested it a little bit. They don't win it very often, but they can win the battle. And you can see that was a pretty fair start in general from what you would hope, and they just weren't able to get it done. Now, as for the High Elves, the Princess got 104 kills, the Handmaiden of the Ever Queen 43, the Spearmen 14, 29, 14, and obviously they're not going to do great against Dowie infantry. They're just there to hold. 11 and 25 to the White Lions of Trace. And this is exactly because, you know, obviously Aurora Boss had a goal in mind, and that was to really focus down the armor-piercing infantry and get the job done in the front line with those guys and collapse the edges, and that's what he did. The Swordmaster of Rehoboth obviously did quite a bit better, 111 kills, but they sort of came in last. He did try to lead them away from the battle. 43, 46 for the archers with light armor, and that was against, a lot of it was against Giant Slayer, so they got a ton of value in this match. The Sisters of Avalorn, 15 kills. The Illyrian Reavers, 23 kills, and they got in some on the Giant Slayers. Really, I think the High Elf player sort of threw his Illyrian Reaver archers away, charging into the Rangers, expecting them to rout really quick so he could go after the other Rangers. They didn't rout because they're Dwarfs, although they don't have the best melee defense. They held on long enough to let the other Rangers go to work on them. 36 and 15 with the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers and 22 with the Scions of Mathlan. Now, as far as looking at how builds sort of converge, I've always find it interesting to see different players and how they evolve their builds. And Aurora Boss and I had a long conversation about builds early in my training, and that was that as you get better and more experienced in a matchup, builds will generally converge on some of the same themes. And you can see that with my build versus the Lizardman, Yume's build versus the Lizardman, and with Hacker's build versus the Lizardman. They all share some of the same elements. And when the new DLC came in, we borrowed from each other, obviously, but they've converged a lot. And this is where you can see in Yume's, he has these 3 Iron Drakes, Trollhammer torpedoes, and he has 2 cannons instead of bolt throwers. You're going to see a game with Aurora Boss where he tries out 2 cannons, and he has a Rune Lord as well, but Yume's also has a Runesmith with the Rune of Wrath and Rune and the Hammer of Carrick Draws, which I also have in my build, because you can basically take these Swordmasters of Hoeth and make them very, very weak for a full minute. And the main difference is how they go about that infantry fight. So in Aurora Boss's build, he just wants to hold. That's it. So he has 6 Longbeards. In Yume's build, he has 4 Dwarf Warriors with great weapons and 3 Hammers, because he wants to actually win that frontline engagement against the heavy infantry, where Aurora Boss just wants to hold it. And then Aurora Boss has 2 Giant Slayers to deal with some other heavy stuff that might come into the back line, where Yume's has, in his main build, just has the Dragonback Slayers, but in the build we saw on the channel, he had no Slayers at all. So it's really interesting that they're converging on some certain ideas, and definitely both of them, if you look at Yume's amazing guide and any of Aurora Boss's, they both really, really like the Iron Drakes with Trollhammer torpedoes in this matchup, and they both have liked them for a very long time. And done well with them for a very long time, so that really has to be correct. And they both like the Rune Lord. Obviously, the Rune Lord is very competitive in that matchup. So, anyways, would love to hear from you. I mean, what do you think about this matchup? What do you think about the bolt throwers and the cannons? What do you think about having the Runesmith along with the Rune Lord? What do you think about the difference between concepts of defending on the front line or attacking on the front line? Defending with Longbeards or attacking with hammers. It is very different, a very different idea. One of the things the Longbeards have is they do have more mass in the front line, so they can slow things down. But I would like to really hear from you guys. What do you think about the difference in ideas? And I will have another game from Aurora Boss where you can see him play out this army or something very close to it as well, so you can have another game to look at. But I would actually love to hear from you. I always ask for comments because I really, really enjoy them. Like, that's sort of the best part of doing this, is getting to hear other people's views and thoughts on builds and ideas and concepts. And this matchup, there's been lots of great comments over time, because I've changed my High Elf army a ton. I have gone with heavy front lines. I've gone with bolt throwers. I've gone with the flame cannon. I've gone with lots of different ideas. And this last build where I have the 3 Iron Drakes with Trollhammer torpedoes and actually 2 gyrocopters feels really, really good. And it feels very controllable. And I had quite a nice game with that, even though I didn't play it perfectly. So anyways, love to hear from you. Hope you found it interesting, and I will see you soon.